Good afternoon, everybody. It's been a while since my last video, and I'm pretty busy with many things, and a lot of the clients I've been dealing with lately, there's a lot of the same thing that pops up. And this is a very difficult topic. It's a hard topic to really try to explain to people. It's fear. Fear I know I've talked about before, but this fear is the fear of the spiritual world, is the fear of you have no power, that spirits can come into you and control you and manipulate you and do whatever they want to you, and you have no ability to stop them. So you go seek people out like me, Abby, and you want them just to come in and take away that entity and transform it. We can do that. But the problem is, do you believe that it's actually working? Now, the reason why I'm saying this is because when you go into somebody's atmosphere, you see the energies around the entity that's there, the entity itself. You take that entity and you transform it. You take it away, you go back in time, you do. It really depends on what spirit guides me to do and guides whoever else does this type of work to do. So everybody does things differently, everybody sees things slightly different. The question is how do you stop it from coming back if it keeps coming back? We ran into a few situations where you can do work for somebody and it seems no matter what they do, they have to be the ones to take the entity away. So there's times we go in there, entity is taken away, no problem. But then there's times we're meant to guide you, to help you find out how to do it yourself. This is very important because sometimes, especially people nowadays that are awakening, they have to do this style of work. They have to help other people. And how else do you help other people if you don't experience it yourself? You don't go through a type of awakening where you have to go into dark parts of yourself to overcome the fear of it. Because if you go in and take it away, your lesson isn't learned. It's not that we do doesn't work, it's not meant for us to do. And that comes across in the journey. We're actually told by spirit, and a lot of the times your higher self is really aware of what is going on. Your higher self is aware that this is happening, but they want you to step up to overcome your fear, because no matter what we do, if you're afraid, it's going to bring all that back inside yourself. So how do you not be afraid? I could say, don't be afraid. But how do you not become afraid? How do you overcome that within yourself, the fear? I've been in situations where, I know I said this before, where I had 9 spirits. I wake up in a dream state, can't move. One's holding me down, there's a bunch of them swirling around me. I force that one off me and I force myself up and I move around the room. They take me, they throw me up against the wall, I get my bearings back, I go down on the floor, and at that point they're blinding you, they're doing all kinds of stuff to you. Chaos is what they create. Mass chaos. It's very loud. One time somebody told me about how they described it, and they said it's very noisy. And I was thinking, yeah, you're right, it is very, very noisy. Interesting way of putting it. It's like, it's one of those things that you kind of were aware of but wasn't quite aware of it until somebody else says it in a different way. I thought it was very chaotic, but the chaos is very loud. It's very obvious what is happening. The more there is, the more louder that noise is. The louder the energy is. So when they go away, it's peaceful. It's quiet. It's like that sound when the birds start chirping for the first time. It's like it's a relief. It's like when you have the fan on above your stove, cranked full blast, and you're just like, God, you're cooking away, and there's a lot of stuff happening in the house, and then you shut it off, and you hear silence for just, you realized how annoying that was. That's what it's like. It's like the fan full blast, shutting it off, and that's what it feels like. You're in your own house, generally, to start. Doesn't mean you have to stay in it. I don't want to get into all the details of how and when dark energies are around. Or it's not necessarily even dark energy, it's just astral traveling in general. When you go to astral travel, a lot of times you're frozen because you think that you have to walk. Or I should say, you feel like you have to walk, but you realize you have to think to walk, is a better way of putting it. But you don't realize you don't have to walk at all because you can fly. You can do anything because you're in a spiritual existence. You actually physically leave your body and you walk around your house, you see all kinds of things. But fear is one thing that is very exaggerated in that place. Fear is what you need to overcome in order to be really good at allowing these things to go away, allowing these things not to come back. Because if you have fear, they will keep coming back. That's why when you do this type of work and somebody says they have entities around me, they have entities in the house, they did whatever they can, they can't get rid of them, they pray, but they're afraid. Throw everything out the window. You can't send love into a demon when you're afraid of it. It's not going to work. It's pointless. They're going to become angry, they're going to become stronger, and they're going to make your life miserable. However, if you have no fear of them and you send love into them, that's a whole nother ball game. If you have an intention without fear attached to it, so as you shine your light within your own heart, so you look at your heart and you expand the energy outwards that surrounds you, all around you, you're glowing extremely bright. That in itself will help prevent anything coming in yourself. It helps prevent the fear within yourself. But some people think there's an entity inside themselves. When that happens, at some point in time you allow that entity to come into you. It could have been in many different forms, many different ways. But you invited it in. It can't come inside you unless you believe it can and you invited it in some form. You can ask it to get it to leave instantaneously with an intention of belief that you can do it. With the help from God, from Jesus, from whatever you higher power, whatever you believe in. That's how they go away. That's how you can get rid of them. Is with intention of without fear. You can pray, but if you second guess yourself, they will get stronger. You can even look at it as ego. There's actually a lot of negative energies within yourself that are ego based. So when you're trying to get rid of those things and you second guess yourself, they're going to beat the crap out of you because they want you to have fear. They want you to be afraid. They want to justify their existence. So how do you become unafraid? By believing in the power within yourself, that you're an infinite being. We're taught our whole lives that God is the only way that we can be saved. Jesus is the only thing that can save us. So we give our power away to someone else. And we spend our whole bloody life giving our power away to somebody else. Do you not understand that we are all part of God? If we are part of God, God is within us. When we go inside ourselves, we see the God within us. So He is already here. He's already helping us. Because we are Him. We're part of Him. If you look at God as one consciousness, you can look at God as many different things. But if we break off from God, we are now God. We never stop becoming God because we're human beings. We still are God. We just don't cease to be something that we were once created from. It just doesn't go away. Our belief is what causes us to have it go away. And we're taught, if any of us that were born into religious families, that we give our power to God. Because God forbid, we stand up for ourselves. We have no power over Satan or the devil. He corrupts our minds and it causes us to do things. It's easy to blame somebody, isn't it? It's easy to ask somebody else to go and do something for you. But is it ever going to change? Will anything ever truly change if we keep giving it to somebody else or blaming it on somebody else? Or asking somebody else to do it for us? What the heck are we learning? Why did we come here? We came here so we can ask other people to do everything for us in our life? I don't think so. That's not what I believe. But it's up to you to decide what you want to believe. I believe God is within me. And I'm here to teach you the same thing. If you wish to listen or you wish to believe, it's up to you. I'm not making you believe in anything. I'm giving you alternatives to being afraid. To be afraid of the devil. Blame the devil for everything. The devil is beyond redemption, everybody says. Lucifer is beyond redemption. And Beelzebub is beyond redemption. Every time I speak like this, it makes me a bit upset that we blame everything on a being. So, Jesus takes away our sins. So that's what is told to us. That's why His purpose was here. So we can do whatever we want and He just takes away our sins if we say that at the end. The problem is, it could be true if we believe it. But how many people will sin their whole lives and at the very end will say, oh well, Jesus is going to take away my sins. Maybe it will work for some people. But does it make sense? Does it make any sense that we can go through life and at the last minute decide all my sins are forgiven? Everything I've ever done in my lifetime is forgiven. The problem is that we, as a human being, spent our whole life doing something that maybe felt right. Maybe we were a psychotic person. Maybe it felt good that we did these bad things our whole lives. But then at the end we change and we believe that we're forgiven. And maybe that's all it takes. I'm just throwing a lot of things out there, a lot of topics, because it's all based around fear. Like if you look at Jesus Christ, a perfect example of a man who spent his whole life helping other people to find the truth within themselves, to find the temple within themselves. Why would He ask us to go within ourselves instead of, He didn't ask us to go to the nearest church, to sit down and listen to somebody else tell us exactly everything that we're doing. He didn't say that God's going to basically make us burn in hell if we do anything wrong. He said He's going to take our sins away from us if we believe it. So, what do you do with that? It's contradictory. The whole religious thing is contradictory. One second they tell you to go within yourself to find the truth. Next second that you're going to burn in hell if you do something wrong. If you commit murder, you commit to go against the Ten Commandments. So that's just one religion. I know there's many. There's many versions of the same type of religion. But ultimately, most religions believe in a prophet and God. And some form of hell. A space where you are basically go if you're a bad person. So it creates fear in your soul. It creates fear in your heart and minds. We are to be afraid of things that are dark and twisted and go bump in the night. We are to curl up and pray and be afraid, very afraid of everything that we don't understand in the dark. Are you afraid of the dark? Are you afraid of the demons in the dark? Are you afraid of the demons in different dimensions and different portals? And are you afraid of hell? What is hell? That's another question, isn't it? There's a lot of things that I'm babbling about, and one of the main things is, when are we going to learn to stop giving our power away to other people? I am here to help you understand that you, no one else, can help you better than anybody else in this whole entire world. Because no one else knows you better. There's no one else that can teach you to overcome your fears better than anyone except yourself. There's people to teach you, to help you along the way. Yes, that is true. However, if you want to overcome fear, you have to overcome it yourself. You have to believe that you can. If somebody goes in there and takes something from you, like say there's a person that says there's a demon within them, you go in, you transform that demon. What is going to be replaced if you do not believe it worked? There's something inside yourself that's believing it's not working. There's something in yourself that's afraid of it, that no, this can't possibly go away. I'm too afraid of it. Or you're attached to it and you don't even realize it. That you're going to keep calling it back within yourself. You could be afraid. There's one thing that you, when you do things, when you do this type of thing and you start to overcome your fear, they will appear to become stronger. What they'll do is they'll come at force at you. That's the key point. That's the time where you bunker up and you become the most brightest beacon in the universe, because you all are, if you allow yourself to be. You can be the brightest star in the universe at any time you wish. And you don't stop shining that light. You don't stop believing in yourself. You do not stop believing in you, the power within you, the God within you, because God shines through you. God's energy, love energy, shines out your heart. You can reach inside your heart and give anybody a ball of energy that is pure love, if your intention and the understanding is that's what it is. You can hold it up to the gates of heaven and shine light into it. You can get all the archangels and angels to shine light into it as well to make it even stronger. You have that ability inside yourself. You have that strength within you. So, how do you overcome fear? How do you overcome thousands of years of manipulation that you have no power over the dark energies? That only God can do it. Believe God can. but also believe that God is within you. That Jesus is within you. The Spirit of Christ is within all of us, if you wish it to be. You expand the light around your heart to cover you could put a ball of energy around yourself. You can connect to Mother Earth, allow the earth energy to flow into you, into your heart. You can ask the gates of heaven to open up and shine light into your heart. It goes through your head, into your body, into your heart, through your feet, from Mother Earth into your heart. You could have light come from every direction to your heart, and then from there it travels to parts of your body. Always bring it through your heart first. Let your light expand outward. State your intention and the belief that you are a part of God, and nothing can hurt you in the spirit realm. Allow the energies to pass through you. I know I said this before, but it's a very good message because it taught me something very important. It was initially spirit that came to me, and I recognized it, but I was not quite sure where it was coming from. It was kind of hidden from me. It only can be hidden for so long, generally. But it was slapping me across the face, and I said, why are you slapping me? It was actually getting me kind of upset, because the spirit wasn't a bad spirit, but it kept slapping me across the face. And it told me, why are you letting me slap you? Why are you letting me slap you? And I said, oh, okay. And then I thought, well, if I just phase out, allow my energy to change so that his energy is passing through me, then it doesn't touch me. That's exactly what I did. I learned to phase out so his energy passes through me. I learned something very important, that nothing can attach itself to you, nothing can hit you in the spirit realm unless you allow it to. But you can touch anything you want, unless they don't allow you to. And that doesn't really matter, does it? Because as long as you don't allow things to touch yourself, nothing can touch you, nothing can enter you, anything just passes through you. Somebody could be screaming at the top of their lungs in front of your face, and you just allow that energy to pass right through, and you could be thinking of walking down the beach holding hands with your partner. You could think of yourself lying in a field of flowers looking up at the sun. Whatever you feel, something is beautiful. You can just visualize it if you wish. The person can yell as much as they want. You let the energy, you visualize the energy going through you, going way down there somewhere. It's the same thing when you're dealing with energies, dark energies. You need to state in a belief in your intention. And just believe in that intention. It doesn't necessarily happen instantaneously. For instance, you could say, I got this damn fucking game in my head. I have this image that repeats over and over again, this stupid game, this movie, this book, the words are not stuck in my head. I just want to get over this. I want to go to sleep already. You can state with intention that I don't want that book, that movie, that video game to have an effect on my physical and spiritual atmosphere. I want the echoes in these to stop. That's it. You can state that, but you have to believe it. So how do you believe it? By practice. By doing it. And believing in yourself. Shining your light as bright as you can be. Take energy and put it through your body and visualizing parts of yourself becoming so bright, and the dark parts of yourself become light as well. There's so many ways of doing it, but ultimately it's the belief and intention and acceptance that you are the master. Nothing can go inside you unless you allow it to. Nothing can attach itself. And fear of the unknown in the spiritual world is just fear. It's an illusion. And when you pray with intention that it is the truth. If you will believe in something, then believe in it. Don't be wishy-washy about it. Believe it. If you believe that you have the power within yourself, then believe that. Own it. If you believe in Jesus Christ with the intention with him to take it from you. If that's what it takes to begin, then do it. You can ask for help from other beings of light at any time. But then when you start to do it more and more and more, you realize, and they will even tell you if you can communicate with them, that you have the power within yourself to do everything that they're doing with the belief in yourself. Overcoming fear is a practice in the belief of who you are. To face your fears is to face the realities of the dark sides of yourself. That they're part of who you are. Accept them for that. That's where all your strength comes from. All your grit, all your ability to pick yourself up off the floor when you get beaten down or you're sick, your strength to get out of that. That is all part of who you are. Allow the love of the light and the dark to be healing, full of love. The chaos parts of the light and the dark, be in control and acceptance that they are there, but you are in control, they are not. Every time they try to be in control, you state that you are in control. You are the master of your own reality, your own spirit, your own physical experience. And you would become the master of yourself. Thank you, everybody. That's a video based on fear. I hope it helps people understand something within themselves. It's easy for me now, because of the many, many years I've dealt with this stuff, to understand it. But I had no teacher. I had nobody to help me. I had nobody that spoke to me like this. I had to learn it all myself. And it was not easy. Now if a spirit comes in bed with me, wraps its arms around me, I just either send it away or shine my light, it goes away and doesn't come back. But I have no fear, it doesn't come back. Another one might periodically come back and check what's going on, but it leaves. It's interesting, that dimension. But ultimately, a lot of the times, it's your higher self that is sending you a lesson that you have to overcome. And when you overcome it, you understand something that a lot of people do not. But they're becoming more and more and more people that are starting to understand. You understand about how things work, about how the universe works, about how your soul works, and what your soul is, and how vast and beautiful it really is. Even the dark and the light parts of it. The chaos and the light and the dark. Don't fool yourself. The light can be full of anger and pain as well. Extremism is chaos, whether or not it's coming from light or dark. Love can go from light or dark as well. I look at the yin-yang symbol as a perfect example. The top parts here are love. The bottom parts here are chaos. And there's a fine line of neutrality in between, where you merge them together so they're seamless. And they merge into each other on both ends. Beautifully, seamlessly. When you balance the light and the dark sides of yourself, you'll surely start to live your life. Sometimes you'll feel like you're alone, because there's not that many people that go and do that. We still give our power away to everybody else. We give and we speak things to the other demons. It's all their fault. The devil made me do it is one of the most annoying things to me now than it ever was. I experienced what it's like, what those words really mean, and what they really do. You should be ashamed of yourselves for speaking it, because you are torching a soul. You are torching a soul that is a soul that has come here to take on the burden of all the things that we have done that were bad. So if you look at Lucifer as an angel, as light and dark, when you travel to the dark side, it's dark. It's going to be pretty horrific. But you see, the light side is very beautiful. And ask yourself, is it better to condemn and blame everything that you've done on somebody else, so that soul can stay in torment for eternity? Or is it better to bring yourself into balance so that soul can finally be freed of its torment? When you experience the torment that we create every time we do this, we blame him for the things, our own sins. What that does to that soul that has chosen to come here to take on that burden. It wasn't forced, it was chosen to take on that burden. Would you have chosen that? Would you have the strength to do that? Would you want to do that? So the next time you condemn the things that you do on somebody else, or the devil, or Lucifer, ask yourself, would you be man enough to take his place? Would you be man enough to take his place? People say, people that talk about Lucifer, talk about the devil, that we're worshipping Lucifer. We're worshipping the devil. I don't worship anything. I don't go on my hands and knees and pray constantly about everything in my life. People that do that, great. That's what you want to do. Then fine. It's fine. But God doesn't ask us to go on our hands and knees and pray to him, because we are God. He is within all of us. We can say thanks for the things that we have, because it is appreciation of being alive. It's being appreciation of being human. It's appreciation to give us a life, a consciousness of our own. But what right do we have to condemn another being to eternal hell? Because we're the ones keeping them there. Do you realize that? Because if we stopped condemning him, he would be able to leave and go back into heaven once again. It's a topic that's very vast and long, and I could talk about so many different variances of this. But it's all around fear. The fear of yourself. The fear of other people. The fear of the spirit realm. The media, let's not even get involved with all the spreading of fear that's out there. There's a lot of it. Anytime you find yourself becoming fanatical about anything, you might want to question it. Is it the right course of action to be fanatical? A friend of mine mentioned, and it's a very good point, is that you can be an anti-war, or you could be love. So if you have a love rally, it's the same thing as an anti-war rally, but once you put the word anti-war attached to it, it becomes a negative thing. But having a love rally, people say, oh, that's corny. Anger creates anger. Love spreads love. It's as simple as that. If you spread fear, then you will be afraid. Some of us will overcome that fear, but the masses will still be afraid. And the more they are afraid, the more fear that is in the earth. So things will never change. If we believe that war is the only way to have peace, then that's what we'll do. We'll be constantly in a state of war. And that's not going to change unless we change the way we think. Instead of saying we need war to prevent wars, why don't we just say peace is our only option? So let's just start spreading peace and love. And people, well, that would be a boring world. How is doing the things that you love to do boring? You think going out and killing people, shooting people in the head, beating the shit out of people is fun? Do you think that is what is exciting in the world? What does it mean to have a world of peace and love? It means that you can travel and do anything that you want, that your heart desires. In a clean energy, a world that is no pollution. I was shown many times that there's a world over here. This is our cities. And then on this side, they show me another city that has been proved upon. The world has been proved upon. You could go drink out of the city sewers, for instance, you want to call it, because there really isn't any sewers. You wouldn't drink out of the sewers, but the rivers themselves that are right going through the city are clean enough to drink out of. Perfectly healthy. We have the ability as a human race to improve upon nature. In other words, make the trees become healthier. I'm not talking about genetically modifying things to make them in a weird chemical mix. I'm talking about making an area that is arid, that the plants have a hard time surviving, to grow it into a lush forest. To build cities that you can even tell they're just part of the environment, that don't produce any pollution, that live with the environment. So you could be in a desert area. You could build a desert community. Why do we need to have grass, a weed that has to have a massive amount of water to survive in a desert climate? Because we want to have green grass. It's like, then don't live there. Go somewhere else and live. It's like, you can take a desert and make it into a lush green oasis, as long as you put the energy into it. We're saying all this time that we're draining all our aquifers around the world, in the States especially. Us in Canada don't have as big of an issue. Why aren't we refilling them with the rivers? They say rivers are polluted. Well, that's because of us they're polluted, but why not do some type of filtration system, which then is hooked up to hydroelectric, that goes into the aquifers and refills them? This fresh water goes into the ocean on a regular basis. Tons, like tons and tons and tons and tons of water per second go into the oceans and then turn into salt water, which is undrinkable, which we then in turn we could get that clean water as well. It's a lot more of a process. So instead we do nothing. Anyway, blah 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 blah. You get the point. We can do a lot of things if we set our minds to it. But never say that peace is boring. It's only boring because you don't have any hobbies. You don't have anything in your heart that you really want to strive to do. We're manipulated into a society that you have to do jobs that you have to do from 9 to 5. There's no way out. It's because you don't believe there is. To fix the world problem is not something that can come easily. But the only way it's going to change is to be changed the way we think. The belief in ourselves, to get control over our own hearts and not have any fear. Then the world will change. If everybody could do that overnight, man, the world will change fast. But we know that's not going to happen. Should we expect it to happen? No, we shouldn't. It takes time. Stop thinking that there's going to be something going to happen to change the world in an instant. Get your head out of the clouds. Start living your life. Start realizing that you are the one that can change the world. No one else. Because if you believe everybody you're going to do it, then that's what you're going to go through your life believing, that this other person's going to take care of that. Do your own part. Find out what inside yourself is making you drive. What drives you? What is passionate within yourself? Find the passion within your heart and follow it. Doesn't matter where it takes you. Doesn't matter what you need to give up to get it. Because that stuff that you're not giving up is preventing you from doing it. Thank you very much, everybody. Have a great evening. Again, if you wish to do a session with me, you can visit my website at www.amonrosawakening.com. I also do Northern Lights, which is a passion of mine. And you can visit that website at www.josephbradleyaurores.com. Thank you very much, everybody, and I hope I didn't bore you too much. Remember, you got this shit. You really do.